What do we have at the foundation of the reading? Page of Swords, air energy at the foundation of the reading. Okay, so the message that I'm getting here is that there's an individual or a group of individuals in your energy that are currently watching you move on right now. And I feel that what's taking place here is that you were sent into these individuals' lives to create a bridge between them and the divine. You were their last hope. But the divine had to pull you out of this mission earlier than expected because of their treatment towards you. They didn't see you for who you really were because God cloaked you. You were a test, a final test. And now as the years have pushed on, they've gotten to this place in their life where they're being faced with all of their missteps, their mistreatment of others. And you are on the forefront of these individuals' minds. I feel that you've entered a season of your life, or you're quickly preparing to, where you're coming up. And I feel that when you were in these individuals' lives, maybe you just didn't have it like you do now, or like you're about to, which was all a part of the play. It's one of these moments where an individual, again, is looking back and thinking to themselves, oh, wait a second. So maybe they were the individual that I prayed for. Maybe they were the family member that was going to break us from this generational bondage. Take it as it fits for your situation. But it's too late now. And all they're left with is an echo of your presence, because I don't feel that these individuals are in your life anymore. They want to be, that's for sure. But they don't know how to make their way back to you because they're still trying to hold up the shattered remains of this illusion, of this mask that they've been wearing for the entire world to see. But they're not fooling anybody anymore. They've gotten to the point now where everybody can see right through the lies. Everybody can see it except for them. But they think that if they just keep lying to themselves, that they'll be able to fool other people too. But this is actually all a part of how karma is beginning to unfold in their life. When it comes to these sorts of individuals, a big part of their karmic retribution is for people to see them in a completely different way than they actually see themselves. But it's also an energy where nobody really cares to tell them because they know it's not going to make a difference anymore. So they just observe this person decaying as the days go by. And everybody knows that it's probably the best thing that could happen for these people to get them realigned with their path. Because I also have the feeling that a lot of people have already tried to help this person, have already tried to course correct this individual. But everyone who has given this person love has dealt with their wrath. This person has spit in everybody's face. And now while they unravel and while they still try to hold up what's left of that mask, people can't help but think how this person is clear proof that karma, that the divine order of how karmic justice unfolds in people's lives is very much real. It's alive and well. This person is a spokesperson for it, and they don't even know it. What do we have at the sacral, please, Spirit? Six of Swords, Aquarius energy at the sacral. Now, as you are moving forward with your life and this person is in the unraveling season, let's just say, of their life, you're starting to really understand how karmic cycles work, right? A lot of the times we know that a karmic cycle is ending in our life when we have seen ourselves in one of three positions. Now, a lot of the times we'll make some mistakes in our younger years. Maybe we hurt somebody. Maybe we have a partner that we could have treated a little bit better. And then we get into another relationship and maybe that person treats us the way that we treated that person, right? This is just an example I'm giving you. And then as time goes on and you deal with the karmic consequences of your actions, we find ourselves now being a witness to things that we have already experienced ourselves. It's like saying, wow, I remember when I was going through that. This is one of the clearest indications that a karmic cycle is closing out in your life, and you have learned the lessons you need to learn to be able to move forward on your path. We are all going through this in any given moment. Whether it's with something small, whether it's with something big, karmic cycles are always going to see us sitting in one of these three positions. So here you are in the Six of Swords energy moving on. And what you're witnessing is this individual inside of a cycle that you've already graduated on from. You've learned the lessons that they have yet to learn themselves. And everything is obviously circumstantial, so just really place this as it makes the most sense for you. But when you can hold these three perspectives, this is a kind of rite of passage. There's a sense of self-mastery that's connected to all of this, because it's something that you can apply into almost every area of your life moving forward. It's a sort of key. It's the one life lesson that you had to learn to be able to align with your true north. And I think we all have this in some capacity. It just really depends on what's in our mission statement and what sort of karma we are here to transmute for our family lineage. But if I was to really simplify everything that I'm channeling with the Six of Swords, it is really that message about the three perspectives, okay? So if you're at this point in your life and you're wanting to know if something's coming to an end, ask yourself, depending on what the situation is, have you experienced all the different perspectives of that situation? Have you truly mastered the lesson, right? And this is really the simplest way to understand this, and a lot of these karmic cycles, they'll take years to make our way through. What do we have at the solar plexus, please, Spirit? Four of Pentacles, Capricorn energy in reverse at the solar plexus. Okay, so this individual that I'm picking up inside all of your energy, or it could be more than one person, these people are having a kind of fall from grace, or there's something that is just beginning to unravel for them, like we mentioned. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that whether or not they're in your life any longer, you're entering the season that we can call really your rite of passage with the Six of Swords. You now, having learned the lessons from your own karmic cycles, are actually shifting them into a timeline where they now have to learn the lesson for theirs, right? So, in other words, when you go up, they come down. Now, there's a difference here between you and these people, obviously. I feel that you're an individual who is very self-aware. You're somebody who can look back over your life and say, yeah, I could have handled that better. I wish I hadn't have done this. I wish I hadn't have done that. But you're also able to extract the lessons, right? Which doesn't lead you to a space where you live in regret, okay? And that's a good thing. We should try our best not to live in regret. And of course, everything is circumstantial. That's not for every single event or situation, okay? So just take it as it fits, take it as it makes sense. But the best approach to having regrets on our path is trying to do things in the here and now that sees us extracting the lessons, right? To empower ourselves on our path. And this approach alone is what sets you apart from these people here, because these are not the kinds of people that regret anything, right? They're only sorry that they weren't able to get away with it. And chances are they're still trying to devise another approach to see if they can get away with it again. There's a big difference between you and them. And unfortunately, if Spirit can't get these people on the right path, if Spirit can't get these people to learn their lesson the old-fashioned way, well, they must be destabilized with this Four of Pentacles in reverse at the solar plexus. There's going to be a complete breaking down of their foundation, and it's going to happen very slowly. It's going to happen in a way where they don't notice it. So they can't do something about it as it's all unfolding. They'll just wake up one day, not be able to pay their bills, not be able to pay their rent or their mortgage, their car payment, whatever it is. It's all a part of the lesson. But they've been given many, many warnings. But you were not only sent into their life to save them from themselves, you were their kind of final warning, and they just failed to see it. Three of Wands, Eight of Cups, Chariot, Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, this is all you. You're moving forward, okay? You're in this energy of expansion. You're withdrawing from this situation. And you've learned the lessons. You've graduated. This is what this energy is all talking about. Chariot and the Wheel of Fortune. And from this deck, we're not quite at the energy yet. We're an onlooker. See this Wheel of Fortune? It's like we're approaching it, right? You're getting ready to step through the portal. And now this person is dealing with all these obstacles and challenges on their path. It's like the tables have turned. I just heard what they wanted for you has now become their own fate. What do we have at the heart, please? Justice, Libra energy. Okay, so there it is. We just spoke about this. There's the scales. You're going up. They're going down, okay? It's universal law. If anybody has achieved any sort of success, or if they're perceivably at the top of the wheel, Spirit will allow it. The divine will let them sit up there. So there's a higher rise. So there's a higher point for them to fall from grace. It's louder. It's more humiliating. And we see this every single day in the world. These people who have this extraordinary success, and you sort of wonder how they got it because, well, let's face it, they're pretty horrible people. You know, and by all accounts, they don't deserve it. They don't do good with the position. They just abuse it. So what I'm saying here will hopefully allow a lot of you to understand how this works. You know, these people are very prideful, and that's a sin. These individuals live their lives thinking that they are above others. They look at other people like they're peasants. They're self-entitled. They think that they are deserving for all of the fruits, even though they haven't put the labor into getting it. And a lot of these people, they'll use your energy to get it. They'll pump themselves up on the knowing that they have hurt you. It sounds weird, right? But if you can think about energetic vampirism, it begins to make a lot of sense. There are people in this world, a whole lot of them, that get a certain kind of high in knowing that they have brought fear and chaos into your life. It gives them a kind of adrenaline rush. It makes them feel like they're above God. And this is something I mentioned in one of the other readings recently, that when they know that you're somebody who walks with the divine and you have that light inside of you, even in some cases before you even realize you have it, well, they think that if they can harm you, then they become a presence in your life that is above God. See, this is what this is all about. All of it. Everything. It's all about power. And like I said, they'll get a little taste of it because when Spirit drops them down right to the very bottom, that rock bottom, it's going to be felt a whole lot more when they have a sense of what it was like to be at the very top. Wow. Knight of Swords. Okay, so I feel like the Knight of Swords is the energy that's rushing into their life right now to bring forward this major change and judgment. I mean, this says it all, okay? The scales tip, right? It is done. Spirit sends this force into their life, and I feel that this can be showing up in their everyday waking life as something, could be a collection of events. You know, this could be them waking up from one day to the next, like I mentioned, not being able to pay their bills, their car payment, their mortgage, whatever it is, right? All of a sudden, everything consumes them, right? These are also the kinds of people that think they're above the law, right? So they'll let all of these things fall by the wayside and think it will just be taken care of for them because maybe they've had Spirit working in their life up until this point, right? Oh no, God will give me an out, you know, God will always provide for me, right? God will throw me a lifeline, only to realize that God threw them all those lifelines to get them to the point where they had taken advantage of him so many times that he was just waiting for all of it to finally pile up and then pull the rug out from underneath them. And that judgment, well, that's their wake-up call. What do we have at the heart, please? Too many cards. What do we have at the heart? Wow. Hangman. Pisces energy at the heart. Now, I feel that the Hangman is further highlighting what I said earlier on in the reading about the different perspectives of the karmic cycle. It's like this is you, and you're seeing everything unfold from the perspective of them now getting their karma, right? It's their turn, is what I just heard. And you're like, I've never seen it from this perspective before. This one's kind of enjoyable. It's like everything has been turned upside down in these individuals' lives. Again, they woke up from one day to the next on a completely different timeline. You're on the top, they're on the bottom. A lot of you could be feeling lighter, emotionally, spiritually, even physically. This is also an indicator of some sort of closure in your life. It's like this is a representation of a timeline that is dissolving. It's like you've graduated the lesson and now the test no longer repeats. You know, a lot of the times we'll find ourselves in these situations where we can't help but notice that there's this kind of repeating pattern in our life. And this can go on for years. You know, for the sake of example, it could see you getting into a relationship with people that turn out to be almost the same, or the relationship ends up the same, or the same kind of events happen. Maybe they're in a different geographical location, but the energy is the same. That's a karmic cycle. And the reason why it's repeating like this is because there's a lesson that needs to be learned there. It's sort of like the karmic cycle is a merry-go-round and you're supposed to jump off, right? But you fail to realize that until you've gone around so many times, year after year, until it becomes so loud and so obvious to you that you can't help but notice that the universe is trying to tell you something. You know, this is something that I went through myself. For me, it went on for 18 years. Every relationship exactly the same. Every lesson exactly the same. All of them ended almost exactly the same. There was just a similar energy. And I, of course, got to the point where I said, well, I'm the common denominator. It must be me. And that's a good place to start, but it's not always the case. It's not as simple as that. It goes much deeper, which is what I found. What I found was, yes, I was the common denominator, but there was something that I wasn't seeing. There was something wounded inside of me that was magnetizing all of these situations into my life. And though those individuals had specific things that they were dealing with as well, I found that for me, it was all connected to childhood wounding. It was just a specific way that I was programmed. One day, it just kind of washed over me. I just had this epiphany. I just saw it so clearly. I was so desperate for change in my life. And no exaggeration, I was on my hands and knees, begging, pleading to God to please show me a way. What am I missing here? And when I did this, it all came to me. I was shown very clearly what was going on. So I started to really work on myself and get to the core of me. And I was really focused on my earlier years, that childhood wounding, and I found a number of things there that were unresolved. That's the best way I can put it, because what it is, when you begin to do this inner child healing, Spirit will direct you to times in your life where you were left in a space not knowing what you were dealing with. You didn't have somebody around you that was guiding you through those situations. So you do this inner child healing, and you start to be there for that earlier version of yourself. This is something that I always speak about. It's like going back to the past versions of you and being your own hero, right? When you do this, it has a very profound effect on the you in the here and now. You start to see things differently. You start to interface with your reality in a way that you never have before. And you start to think about all of these karmic cycles that you have seen yourself in up until that point. You see it from outside of the fishbowl, so to speak. And it's that moment, it's that period of time when you begin to graduate on, because you see it now. You see that there was something inside of you that the universe was calling you to heal the entire time. That's why they kept sending these people into your life time and time again, year after year, decade after decade, because there was something you had yet to see. And this is also what I'm getting with this Hangman. And the Six of Swords always gets me, right? Because not only are you transitioning on, but it's like here you are, and there's your inner child, right? Right alongside of you. You're walking with that inner child now, and that inner child is walking with you. This can be seen as calling back your energy, right? Calling back all these pieces of you from the past and observing what's there. Taking stock of your path and all the steps you've made up until this very moment. Yes, we have to live in the here and now, in the moment. Very important. But it can be useful and very healing to take a time out for a moment and just take stock of all that's happened up until this moment. And this leads to a tremendous feeling of, well, it's just really being self-aware. Going back and cleaning up little messes that may have been left behind is very useful, depending on how that shows up for you. It's okay to do that. It's very healthy. You know, AA, for example, this is something that is in the 12-step program. Taking responsibility where possible, right? It's for your healing. And it's the exact same thing here. It's just going back and being there for yourself as you are now, as a means to move forward with more self-awareness and an increased sense of empowerment today. What do we have at the throat, please? Whew. Wow. 9 of Cups, Pisces energy again at the throat. Okay, so pretty much everything I just said there is the 9 of Cups. Okay, the 9 of Cups is you completely balanced emotionally. It's like you put in all this work, right? Here's the perspective. You're like, okay, I'm sort of thinking about what took place back then. All right, I never saw it from this perspective before. Okay, I think I understand now. I think I understand now what I can extract from those situations to help me in the here and now. Look, 10 of Wands. It's like laying down burdens that you have been carrying unknowingly, right? The shadow work. And then it leads to this 9 of Cups. Just an increased sense of self in the here and now. And there's this representation of, well, we have the child there, then we have the children there. It's like these are all these different versions of you. Look, there's one there, one there, one there. It's like you're calling them all back to you. All of these pieces of you have now become a part of who you are in this moment. You're owning you, and you're not leaving any parts of yourself alone and behind. Now, if you want to go a layer deeper here, the 9 of Cups is one of the most abundant cards in the tarot. It also speaks about you being able to align yourself to get what it is that you are trying to manifest in your life in the here and now, which is exactly the whole point of this. Taking that time out to do the necessary healing on yourself empowers you in the moment to be able to push forward on your path by providing you with the necessary tools to extract this win, so to speak. It's like the process of doing this just gives you that certain something. That's something that you are missing. And if you want to look at this from a vibrational standpoint, this whole process is one of the most effective ways of raising your vibration because you're no longer holding on to the energetic baggage of your past. But it really does come down to healing being the most effective way of manifesting your true heart's desires into your life. We're all here to heal. That's all of our life purpose. Healing, expansion, experience, extracting wisdom for the universe. We are all but a brain cell in the universal mind. We are all thoughts of the universal mind living out a human experience. And the most abundant experience is going to see us conquering our own demons, our own shadows. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? Knight of Wands, fire energy at the third eye. Perfect. Now, this Knight of Wands is the resulting action of doing all of this, okay? It's like this is the spark. This is what you extract from doing all of this. This is that push forward, however that shows up in your life. You know, a lot of the times, okay, I'm hearing somebody say, I feel stuck and I don't know why. Okay, you know, a lot of the times we'll see these repeating patterns in our life. Okay, like I mentioned, we'll feel stuck. We don't know why. We don't know what's holding us back. We feel like there's a dark cloud over our head. We just can't seem to figure it out. This process that I'm outlining here is one of the most effective, if not the most effective ways to get the energy moving. Okay? When you can't see what's in front of you in the here and now, when you can't seem to figure out what it is that's holding you back, take a time out. Retrace your steps the best you can, okay? Reconnect with that inner child, those parts of you that were left alone to figure it out when nobody else was there to guide you through that darkness. You're going to find everything you need inside of that space. Look for those parts of you that were left abandoned, that you have moved on from. Go back. Embrace little you, okay? If you do this, well, I believe that this is one of the most effective ways of watching miracles begin to unfold in your life soon after. There's so much magic inside of that space. There's so much illumination. There's so much truth. You also have this heightened sense of awareness, this more potent connection that comes online with source, with spirit. This is when you feel totally connected to the universe. It's like you've cleared out that channel. Because once you've done this, it's something that you continue to do as you make your way down your path. It's like there's these hallways in our mind, and there's little pieces of magic behind all of those doors where little you was left in the dark. There's countless opportunities that you can find by opening up those doors, turning on the light, and bringing a sense of closure to all of the parts of you that were left forgotten, to all of those parts of you that were left forgotten. What do we have at the crown, please, Spirit? Perfect. 7 of Pentacles, okay? Taurus energy. So there you are, right? It's like you've you've reconnected with a part of yourself, and now you've extracted something. You're like, oh, man, I have all this wisdom now. I've just healed my inner child, and now I've gotten something that I need. I've harvested something from that space to be able to push forward in the here and now. You know, this is one of these situations, okay, where there's nothing you actually need to move forward and succeed on your path. You just need to reorganize some things that exist inside of you. There's something in you that was forgotten, that was abandoned, that is waiting for discovery. It's like one of these moments where you find yourself looking through old pictures from maybe a decade ago, and you just see something in one of the pictures that you didn't see before, and it changes everything. It's almost like a clue. Maybe it's something you see about yourself. Maybe you see how far you've come. Maybe you realize that you're so far removed from the person that you used to be. Maybe you see a photo of a family member that's no longer in your life. Maybe there's something about them that you didn't see before because you didn't have the eyes to see it. Maybe that's a message for some of you out there. But the point of what I'm trying to say here is that everything is with you. You don't need to add anything more to the space. You just need to sort through what already exists. What do we have at the foundation, please, Spirit? 3 of Pentacles, Capricorn energy at the foundation. Now, this 3 of Pentacles, to me, it's like a bull in a china shop, okay? I feel like this is you starting to see now how many opportunities you lost because of this energy without even really knowing it. It's sort of like finding yourself in this situation where you're looking back at this energy and you say to yourself, how did I not see it before? But then you realize that you did see it. You just maybe made up excuses for it. You didn't want to see it. Maybe you didn't want to accept the truth. And that's okay. Sometimes it's not easy to accept the truth, especially when it goes this deep. Sometimes we'd rather lie to ourselves about who a person really is, because the acceptance of who they really are is a reality that we're not ready for yet. But this is what's unfolding right now. And I feel this may be connecting to what I said in regards to the pictures, right? And I just heard this wasn't their first lie, but it's definitely the last one that will ever work. I just feel that you see it now. They can't get away with it anymore. I just heard that every spell that they've cast has come with a price tag, and Spirit is saying the invoice is now due. I feel that this is really speaking about the illumination that's taking place, right? This truth. And this is one of these situations where Spirit is ripping the veil back, saying, hey, look what's been going on here. You've got to accept this truth now. You can't lie to yourself anymore about who they are. You know, you may say to yourself, well, I was never lying to myself, but it almost goes beyond even lying. It's like a kind of programming. It's like it just doesn't quite register. You know, for the sake of example, it's like finding out that a family member had been doing all of these wicked things behind the scenes your entire life to you, but they smiled in your face. They acted loving, right? Then maybe towards your relationship with them, you just started to see the cracks. Something was off. And then as time goes on, Spirit just reveals it all, like Spirit does. And it's paradigm shifting. The acceptance of that truth would see you interfacing with your life in a completely different way and perceiving your life differently up until that very moment. It's like everything changes. Nothing is ever the same. The truth rewrites your past. That's the simplest way I can put it. What do we have at the sacral, please? 10 of Swords, Gemini energy at the sacral. Wow. Now, The Ten of Swords is an energy of self-sacrifice. It's also an energy of being backstabbed. Okay, so it follows what I'm saying here perfectly. It's like Spirit is trying to show you what was being done to you behind the scenes so you finally move on. Now, I'm feeling connected to what I said about the karmic cycles, the repeating pattern year after year, not being able to see it until you finally stop yourself and say, wait, hold on, what is going on here? And look, if you're at a point in your life where you are in a situation like that, I encourage you to take it to God. You know, I mentioned that I was on my hands and knees begging, pleading. At that point in my life, I'd had enough. I was ready for change. And he responded in a very loud way. You know, sometimes you just have to ask. We always seem to forget this, but maybe this reading can help expand your awareness around how these sorts of cycles unfold. You can take this idea of what I'm presenting to you and now use it as an entry point with your higher power. Ask for the truth. You'll get it. Oh, you'll get it. See, the whole point of all of this is to keep you in a space where you're a victim. See, when you're a victim, knowingly, without the willingness to want to change that space, this is when you become stuck in life. And sure, you can find yourself in situations that you didn't ask for, but at the end of the day, in most cases, you can remove yourself from that space. Don't ever allow yourself to be a victim to somebody else, because this is when they're able to harness your power, your energy, your light. Refuse to be a victim and fight for yourself. Fight for that inner child, because the more you fight for yourself in the here and now, the more opportunities you have to re-engage with those little pieces of you, those little versions of you, and heal all the timelines. See, this is what this is all about. Trying to heal as many parts of ourself as possible. Instead of being the victim, become the observer. That is the power position, because that is when you know you've graduated. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Too many cards. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Too many cards. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Seven of Wands, Leo energy at the solar plexus. I just heard crabs in a barrel, okay? Now, this Seven of Wands, this is an energy here that wanted you to feel overwhelmed, wanted you to give up. But this isn't how this is going to go down, okay? You're in energy now where you are taking a stand for yourself and you're pushing forward. You're not going to remain in the space that they had prepared for you, that sees them draining you of your life force energy year after year. You are no longer their victim. Oh, interesting. I just heard they are no longer your enemy. Now, I feel that I channeled that through because it's one of these energies where you begin to look at these perpetrators, so to speak, as limited, right? This is when none of the weapons that they form against you can prosper anymore because you see them as energetically or vibrationally beneath you. They haven't developed past a certain point. It's okay to have that recognition that other individuals are limited in their thinking. Let's call a spade here, because it's in that space when you can find peace. You can let go of the resentment and instead replace it with empathy for your enemies. You know, the other day I found myself thinking about some situations that I've dealt with in my personal life in regards to people that have formed weapons against me. And maybe a few years ago, I would have really resented them, you know. But I found myself sitting there thinking about these situations with these individuals with a tremendous amount of empathy for them. I felt sorry for them because they just don't see it, right? And it was in that moment that I realized how much I've really grown. Because even to this day, when they still try to do things, I've just gotten to the point now where every time those energies try to come for me, this particular approach allows me to immediately transmute that negative projection into something positive to empower me on my path, which always leads to some sort of gain every single time, without fail. You know, I can taste it in the air when somebody's sending energy manipulation towards me. And now I just smile. Kind of excites me because I know that by moving right, by dancing through those energetic storms they try to send my way with a big smile on my face, I will always come out the other end better off than I was before I went through that storm. God will make sure I come out the other side with stronger armor. and something incredible to show for it. Not only my spiritual discernment and experience, but also more tools to help me in my material reality. I encourage you, give it a try, okay? And interestingly enough, wow. So we have Ace of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck with Temperance. Now, both and Ace of Wands, wow. So all of these cards are red in their shadow. Okay, so this Ace of Pentacles here, this is an energy that tries to create monetary delays in your life, all right? Wants you to miss out on opportunities. Temperance, this is an energy, well, this is the energetic storm, okay? It's an energy of chaos being sent into your life. And then the Ace of Wands here, this is an energy that's basically, again, just trying to create delays and setbacks. All right, so this just followed what I said. It's like this is the storm they send you. And, you know, this card here, on other depictions of this, it says black magic right there. So this is the energy manipulation. So here they are projecting all of this into your life, and you transmute it, just like I said. Instead of these monetary delays coming into your life, you have financial prosperity. Instead of the energetic storms coming into your life, you find harmony in the eye of the storm. Instead of these setbacks that they are trying to project into your life in regards to your projects, you have more creative juices that run through you. You get ideas. You know, one of the things that I'm never in short supply of is creative ideas. You know, I have my store that I opened about, well, it's probably almost 2 months now. And every single piece in there has been inspired by situations like this. It's a creative outlet that I put together to help me transmute these energies. And it's been hugely successful. And it would not even be a thing had these individuals not been projecting this energy into my life. And the other side of this as well, every time they do this and you transmute it, you win, they lose. Something is depleted from them and given to you. It's like you get their wins. That's that rebalancing. That is universal law. See, they're gambling with the possibility that you won't know what's happening, that you'll start succumbing to fear. See, they're not betting that you know how to handle these energies when they're sent your way. It's like they're putting down a bet. They're saying, okay, I'm going to put this bet down that they're not going to be able to know what is taking place. They're going to succumb to these storms and I'm going to win. But if you take the approach that I'm offering to all of you here, this is when it completely blows up in their face. This is when that energetic storm goes back to them. It's like they send a storm into your life that is meant to bring a huge energetic tsunami, metaphorically speaking. What do? You grab your surfboard and you ride that tsunami. What do we have at the heart, please? Ball, the Emperor in its shadow at the heart. Look, there they are, right? They weren't supposed to ride that tsunami with that surfboard. I wasn't expecting that. And my God, do they have perfect form. There's a very angry individual that I'm picking up here. It could be a group of people as well, or it could just be an individual who's spearheading the operation, so to speak. But this was somebody who was betting on the fact that they were going to be able to dominate you with some sort of energetic storm that they were sending into your life. They weren't expecting you to all of a sudden become so malleable and bend and weave and duck and dive around this energy. But this is all because of this perspective you have gained, right? You are understanding the greater dynamics of your own universe. See, this is another huge part of understanding how these karmic cycles work. It's like once you get on the other side of it, you start to look at your life completely differently. You start to see something you didn't see before. You start to see a force there. You start to see where the energetic storm ends and your empowerment begins. And this is what they were not betting on. And you know, this doesn't mean that they stop. This is something I've experienced myself. They just keep doing it because their egos are so big. They think that eventually they'll be able to rattle your defenses. So you just get used to living with it. You get used to transmuting it. Your life just becomes that of legend. You look back on your path and you're like, I can't believe how far I've gotten, how much I've gained, how much success I have in my life. And a lot of it has to do with the incredible obstacles that have been placed on my path. It's like they place all these obstacles on your path. You managed to make your way around all of them. Sure, maybe you tripped a couple of times, but you got back up and you kept going. And now you're this warrior. But it's like they've come too far now. They can't give up now. So they just keep at it. They just keep gambling. The more they gamble, the more they lose, the more you gain. And that's just your life now. You've become this powerful warrior, and they created you. It was their hatred. It was their darkness which birthed you. You were birthed from the storm. And you also get to the point where you kind of thank them, right? Oh, thanks. Which also allows you to, again, understand the greater dynamics of the universe. It's like the universe saying, hey, all right, here they are. They're sending the tsunami your way. What are you going to do? You going to run? You're going to grab that surfboard and ride that thing. Because the whole key here is to move inside of an energy with zero fear. As long as you do that, the universe will always have your back. It's like you grab that surfboard, you run towards the tsunami, you start paddling out there, and the universe is like, awesome, don't worry, we got you. We're not going to let you fall. Just the mere fact that you're out there doing this, we're going to make this epic. And boom, there it is, the Fool. New beginnings, okay? I feel a lot of heat right now. My hands are becoming really clammy. This energy is... There's a lot of depth here. I feel that this message is going to help a lot of you charge forward. You're going to realize and understand that there's absolutely nothing to fear except fear itself, right? There's a really big new beginning here, but you got to take chances here, okay? You got to push through any sort of fear. You have to have faith that the universe has got your back. As long as you do this, you'll be popping out on top of that tsunami, all right? It's the simplest way I can put this. What do we have at the throat, please? Too many cards. Chariot, okay, so an energy of victory. And look, Archangel Michael, right? Stepping over that beast. I feel like this is representing your protection. It says right there, perseverance, success in conflict, overcoming adversity. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? The World, perfect. Fountain of wisdom, give success in all ventures. Okay. So there's a completion of this massive cycle here. I feel that this is the karmic cycle that we have been speaking about, however this shows up for you. There's some sort of major lesson that a lot of you are coming out the other side of right now. This new perspective in tow, right? An understanding of this energy manipulation, now armed with the tools on how to handle it. Do not feed fear with more fear. Feed fear with a smile and a dance, period. There's no better way to put that, okay? Now, I'm hearing that this cycle is not something that they're betting on you being able to complete, let alone even begin to compartmentalize how this works, right? You know, this is obviously very, very complex. There's many layers to this. The channeling here itself is, it's challenging because I have to try and give it to all of you in a way that is useful within a limited amount of time. But I think we've done a pretty good job of it here. Sometimes we don't need to know every detail. We just need to know enough to get pushing forward. And then things will come to us once we start working inside of that space. So don't put anything off right now. I'm hearing something about some of you out there in the collective putting something off or delaying something. There's also a big energy here of travel, Six of Swords, the Fool, the World. Some of you could be guided to take a trip right now. It doesn't even have to be full-on travel. It could just be getting out in nature. This is always very useful, especially when you're going through situations like this. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? And there it is. I've been feeling this in the energy. The Tower, Mars, Aries, Scorpio energy, Uriel, the fire of God, disruption, warns of disasters, aids in transformation, okay? So it's like you've gotten the memo here, okay, about what's been taking place. And they're now getting the memo about who you are, who you were in their life, who they've been messing with, who they have actually been turning into this kind of warrior with all of these attacks. You're not just any old normal person here. You're somebody who's taking this energy, dancing through the storm, and coming out of it with a stronger suit of armor. There's an unbelievable amount of disruption and change taking place inside this energy here. On one hand, you are being firmly placed on this new timeline, however that shows up for you. And on the other hand, these individuals are having their fall from grace. There's a complete destruction, a complete upheaval is taking place in their life. But I just heard it's still quiet. It hasn't hit them yet. Okay, I just heard the quiet before the storm. See, they're still in this energy where everybody else can see something's off except for them. See, these are the kinds of people who think everybody is stupid. They're the kinds of people that think that they can fool everybody. That's the energy they're still in. And there was a time when, sure, they could fool everybody, but not anymore. Those days are long gone. This person I just heard looks like a complete clown, the way they carry on. I'm also hearing something about this individual or individuals, take it as it fits. They have a sort of pattern in the way they move, right? So maybe this person will brag about casting spells on somebody. Then a few days later, maybe this person will be exposed as somebody who has a lot of substance issues, drugs, alcohol. Maybe they have reckless encounters with strangers. You know, they just live a very toxic lifestyle. Then a few days after that, they'll be talking about how they just want to end it all, right? Which is their way of trying to harvest pity from people. I'm hearing that I just heard that this person utilizes one of the most vile and pathetic displays of human behavior that spirit has ever seen. I'm also hearing that, to make matters worse, this person also brands themselves a spiritual pillar in a community. So take that as it fits. To people who don't really know any better, right? And I just heard, and who unknowingly enable their lifestyle. And then the cycle repeats. Okay, so it's like this person is inside their own karmic cycle and they don't see it. It's like they're living in a kind of madness. Okay, what do we have at the crown to close out the reading, please, Spirit? Perfect. 7 of Pentacles stacked with 7 of Pentacles at the crown. Imamia, the lovely God, discernment, general prosperity, the deliverance of prisoners. Okay, so what I was saying earlier on the reading, I think I was saying something along the lines of feeling like you can't move forward, right? Like you can't find a way out, like you're stuck, you're just not seeing something. And see how you have this lantern now? It's like you're saying, wait, I never saw that there was a path down here, okay? And so you have this lantern and you're making your way down this new path, but you also have these wings. Now, these wings are an indication that you have reaped some sort of harvest here, right? You have found something inside of this space, like I mentioned, in regards to that inner child healing, right? It's like when you go and find that version of you that was left by themselves, not knowing how to get through the traumas of that moment. And you go back and you reconnect with that version of you. And by doing so, it's like you take something with you, like a piece of wisdom. That piece of wisdom opens up a new path. It's all connected. So really, a very profound way to pull everything together here into something that is cohesive. It's like everything here now connects. All right, well, this is what I have for all of you. Now, if you would like to support my channel, there are a few ways you can go about doing this. Of course, donations are always greatly appreciated, and I would like to extend my gratitude for all of you who continue to do so. You can also join the membership section of my channel. It's $2.99 a month, and I upload additional videos there that are not available for the public side of my channel. You can also visit my online store, which has several items that were all created by me, and I've just recently added a bunch of new things. All of those links can be found down below as well, and information for personal readings can also be found down below. And lastly, if this reading resonated with you, drop me a heart and/or comment, and I'll see you all again soon. Take care.